Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Randy Rex Show. I am here with my cousin Kari.
Hello.
In this episode, we're going to talk about the last two episodes of the challenge, and then you're going to see me talk about the last two episodes of Survivor. But I hope you guys enjoy the show.
Woo!
So at the very beginning of the episode, we see Rachel, Veronica, and Johnny talking about stars. Mm-hmm. And Rachel talks about why she gave Veronica a star versus Tina, or I think she took Tina's from her to give to Veronica. Anyway, we also see Cam talk about Cara not having her back and how she's against Cara and Rachel. And then they go straight to the challenge, which is unbraided reloaded. They have 4 teams of 5, and they're all braided alongside Semi. And they have to unbraid themselves from the rope that they're attached to. And then they have to work through the maze. So, what did you think of that challenge? Did you like it? Was it fun?
It was a lot of fun. It was really cool. I love anytime they got like something going on midair with a semi truck, like over this. I love those challenges. Those are always the most exciting. They're dangerous, but it's like stunt type stuff. And it's always really fun when you see like the heat of the moment. You can just... That in itself is only like scratching the surface of imagining what it's like to actually be doing that yourself. Could you even be brave enough to be doing all this stuff mid-air while you're like hanging from a hoist or whatever?
Whenever they were voting, okay. Veronica, Tina voted for Rachel and Cara. And they're so pissed about that. What do you think about her voting for them? Even though they were already going in, even if she didn't.
It's a game. Like it's kind of like they have to go into this knowing that at some point something's going to have to get thrown their way by one of their own teammates. It's only a matter of time before they have a daily when it's a team.
But you're my friend. We talk outside of the challenge. You're not supposed to do that.
Right. Well, the thing is, I try to intimidate the crew and Jasmine wasn't dealing with my bullshit. No, because Jasmine, I love that she didn't let Tina like strong arm her. If anything, she told Tina to flat the fuck out, like, bitch, no, we're not fucking doing this at all. And Tina was like, oh shit. And then it kind of just like gave Tina a big reality check that she can't just do that to anybody.
She's just as wild as that hair.
Right. Yes, I agree.
I love it, though. I love Jasmine. I love Avery. They're all sticking up. Cam is sticking up to these people. And your favorite player, one of your favorite players, Cara Maria, was seen shedding some tears this episode. A lot of tears.
Yes. I think this kind of goes deep. So Cara Maria has not been on a season in several years. A lot of these people haven't. But she's just coming back into this show. It's been several years since she's been out of there. There has been a lot of trust that has been broken with people. Well, that Cara has dealt with people like doing bad things towards her.
On the CO.
No, just in over the years and stuff. And I feel like she really thought that, you know, she saw Brandon there. They were pretty close back in the day. And I think that she was like, oh, thank God someone's here that like I was actually pretty cool with back then. And, you know, we're going to be cool. And I think that she got her hopes up because she thought that this guy was going to really have her back. And he totally didn't. And it's like, fuck. Because Cara was like, I feel like she's really trying to turn over a new leaf with being a little bit more like an open-minded. And because she's very like introverted in a lot of ways. But she does it. Sometimes she can do it to her own detriment, I guess, where it kind of like cuts too many people out. And I think she realizes that, and she's trying to be more open to like bringing people in. And I think that it kind of like sucks that even when you do that, people are still gonna not everyone's gonna be like so, you know what I mean? Not compliant, but not everyone's gonna be so like, oh yeah, let's do it.
To that.
Yeah, and it sucks.
So I love Cara Maria. Mm-hmm. You know, I love you. I know how much you love her.
I love all of them.
But, you know, I love to see that Brandon kind of go against her because these past couple seasons, even if it's not a normal challenge season that we're watching, there's always like the people that are just following along, and then they're gonna just
Yeah.
vote for the person that the person before them voted for, and it's just always like this repetitive paint by numbers thing, and it gets so aggravating because then you just see this group of people that are dominating the whole
yeah.
game.
Oh, yeah,
This
for
is like
sure.
the first time I haven't seen that in a long time. So
Yeah.
it sucks to see Cara Maria suffer, but at the same time, I love the madness that it's bringing with other people just not following along blindly.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And that kind of even goes back to Jasmine, of her like not letting Tina and her whole alliance like become a thing where they're just like strong in numbers and they're taking everybody out. Jasmine's like, no, fuck that. I don't care how uncomfortable this is going to make you. We're not fucking doing this. You know what I'm saying? So I could see that for sure.
I wish that I had her quote when she said that she wished she had a pacifier to give Cara Maria so she could shut the fuck up. Like, I love Cara Maria, but oh my goodness.
No, I mean, just because like I'm not caping for Cara Maria. I love her so much, but she's done a lot of fucked up shit too over the years that I don't agree with at all.
Oh.
You know, she's not just this perfect little innocent. No, she's done a lot of shit that's pissed me off, like World of Worlds 2. So that kind of comes with it when it's like you got a lot of strong personalities, but it's like it was fucking hilarious that Jasmine said that for sure.
So at the end, Cara and Rachel do get voted in. They're a part of that group of the losing women. And then ultimately, we see Cara beat Rachel and Rachel go home. How do you feel about that matchup and Rachel leaving?
It sucks to see Rachel leave so early. She hasn't been on since I want to say Battle of the Exes 1, which is like 2012. I want to say around that time.
I thought she was in the All-Star season recently.
No, she wasn't. She has her challenge workout on their YouTube channel, which is pretty cool because at least we're seeing her back at that to that degree, right? But as far as her competing, yeah, we haven't seen her in a very, very long time. Not since she's had that Lord Farquaad haircut.
I love her hair. You know, not for nothing.
I love it now. I didn't love it back then.
Yeah, it's her new haircut looks so cute on her.
Yeah.
And not to bring anyone down, but like, you know, I never thought of her, you know, in that way. But seeing her this season, I'm like, oh my god, this woman is gorgeous. She's beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, very sad to see her go home, but happy to see Cara still here. Okay, last question. What do you think about Cara giving Jasmine the star? Do you think that was good strategy or bad strategy, as Cam puts it?
I think it was the best Cara could do in that situation because she already fell on spot.
Okay, well, that was episode 4 of the challenge, Stargate, which is what Cara said at the very end of the episode when she gave Jasmine her star. She wanted to make her a Stargate. And then we will get into the next episode. Alrighty, folks, we're back. It is episode 5 of the challenge, All Stars 4. And so this episode opens up with the usual recap that they do with the previous challenge winner, which of course was Cara Maria. So we got to see Cara Maria working out, recapping last week's episode when she sent Rachel home.
Yes.
And then we saw a little bit of the aftermath of her feeling betrayed by Cam and Leroy.
Yeah.
And Cam was a little bit worried about their safety moving forward. What did you think about the dynamics this episode we just saw today?
The dynamics. Well,
Because there was a lot of talk about friendships.
So Cara and Cam have a pretty, well, from what I thought was like a pretty solid friendship. Their last season they did together, War of the Worlds 2, they had this super like elite strong alliance, and even though I was so fucking mad at their alliance a lot of the time, because there was just a lot of unfairness going on, they still rode to the end, and they did a lot to make it to the final. I'm not going to spoil anything, but they did a lot together. So their whole dynamic being like up in the air now kind of just goes to show that, you know, sometimes we bond with people when we have like common interests sometimes. Like, I'm not saying they're not friends in real life, but it's like, how close are you guys really? If this in itself was enough for you guys to bump heads like crazy, and y'all supposed to be friends. You know what I mean?
I hope that's not the case for Cam and Cara Maria, but speaking to what you're talking about, it was kind of sad to hear Brandon talk about how he hasn't really had a relationship with Cara Maria, or at least from his perspective, he felt like, why am I going to risk losing this game and the money for someone who hasn't even checked in on me in the past 8 years? Like, he's like, I had a marriage, we had a divorce, we had kids, people have died, I almost got in a car accident. And I definitely could understand where he's coming from.
For sure. I think there's like obviously two sides to that for sure, because it'd be different if they were family. It would be different if they were in the same town. I'm pretty sure they live across the country from each other. That's one thing in itself. But the thing with Brandon is that he's been out of the whole challenge sphere realm for like a decade almost. It's like 8 years, 9 years. And Cara and him were cool, but sometimes life drifts us away from each other at different points, and life has a funny way of like reuniting people. Just from personal experience and other things, there's a friend that I have at my second job that I have not seen in like 8 years. Oh, wow. And when we ran into each other, it was like, oh my God, I haven't seen you since I was a little 20-year-old at Target. You know what I mean? Overnight working my ass off. And it was crazy to see that, because we were the youngsters at that time. And now he's like in his early 30s and I'm in my late 20s. So now it's just crazy how life happens like that. But I'm just saying, like, things happen in life to bring us kind of like to cross paths again for a reason. And if you guys are reconnecting again, you can't really, it's kind of like a easy way out of stuff being like, we haven't talked in 8 years, but it's like, yeah, but y'all didn't have a fallout though. People just drift apart sometimes, and that's okay. If you guys get back in touch, then that's okay too. That's a blessing if you guys are around each other again. You know what I mean? It gives a chance to rekindle something.
Yeah.
Friendship-wise, platonically. I know they're all in a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
But ultimately, Leroy and Brandon did end up on the losing side of the challenge, yes. And then they were voted in. What did you think about seeing them together, voted in, and that fighting it out?
It sucks. Because I'm sure they played seasons in the past, and but it's a pretty good matchup, I guess. It's nice to see that Brandon still has some in him. You know what I mean?
I didn't know either one of them, but I was invested in both of them. Like, you know, we obviously knew that Leroy has a family with Cam. You know, they have a baby. But then this episode, I learned that Brandon has a little girl. I don't know if he has more than just a little girl we saw him talking to, but like, it was just very sweet. So at that moment when they're in the competition, I 100% thought that Brandon was going to end up taking it. And you know, I guess either way, I'm happy for Leroy, who did get to stay, who is still in the competition. But yeah, I don't know. I'm liking being exposed to these other characters, because even as you mentioned, Brandon hasn't been on a show, on a competition, on the challenge in about 10 years, you said. So like, he's obviously, you know, been there throughout the history. He has history with the show.
He does. He definitely has some deep history there for sure. Like, especially like in, I want to say late 2000s, early 2010s era. That's where he was like there more.
And you know, you're talking about the casting, so it's a refreshing for me, because a lot of the times, you know, like I mentioned in the coverage of the last episode, you know, a lot of times people will just become sheep and just like follow along with what everyone is doing, or going along to getting along, and then at the very end, like, oh, guess what? That big alliance that you thought you were a part of, you're not really a part of it. You were just like a little side piece to it, and not when it gets to the nitty gritty, you're gonna get cut, and you do get cut. Like I mentioned, it was just so much of what we have been seeing, and I love a lot, like about how you were getting into casting. I love this cast, even though I'm not familiar with a lot of the challengers, even though they are all stars and they have history within the challenge show and the challenge universe. Seeing the cast together is a lot of fun. And I love the fact that, like I mentioned, Avery. We didn't get to see a lot of Avery. Like, we didn't really see a lot of Steve or Ace or Adam. Like, we did see some of them, but there's just so many characters to get into, and I'm excited about that.
For sure. And, even if they don't really get shown much, at least we can still get to see more of them as these episodes progress. We're probably about midway. We're almost at the halfway point already with the season.
Oh, wow.
Because that was episode 5. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. There's only, I think, 11 or 12 episodes of this. Like, All-Stars format is a lot shorter than the flagship season for the challenge. So it's to be expected, I will say the daily was fun to watch. It was funny. It was interesting to see, I love the dailies. The dailies, obviously, that's like the best part. One of the best parts to me in the challenge is when they're actually doing the challenge. So that was pretty cool.
How have you been feeling about this season of Survivor 46? Have you been enjoying it? How would you compare it to the last couple?
I think it pales in comparison. I'm not, however that saying goes,
no,
but I'm not like, it's pretty interesting, but for some reason, the last 2 seasons in particular were like, I was more like invested. I don't know how to explain it. But
no, that's perfect.
I enjoyed them more than this season. This season, I have a few that I'm rooting for, but it's not like, I don't know. I just these episodes, I've just been kind of like, oh my god, get this person out of here. Oh my god, another person with an idol, going home. Like, do something,
I feel like that's a hot take, at least for me in my little Survivor world. A lot of people are very high on this season. They're really loving it. I'm really loving it, but I love the different perspectives, or like the different the way we're receiving the season. I don't know what it is. I don't know how what I couldn't like put my finger on it, but there's just something about the characters that I'm loving. And even just looking at the jury tonight, seeing the first juror, Soda, who was betrayed by her alliance, her number one, Tevin. And then who's the second juror? It's Tevin. And then, he, as soon as he betrayed his number one, he got voted out the next episode. And then who was Tevin close to aside from Soda? It was Hunter. And he's the next jury member. So, and then even now, someone like Tiffany getting blindsided and getting voted out. For me, these past 4 episodes, maybe if not just the whole season, has been so much fun for me. I have been loving the season of Survivor.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still enjoying it. It's still Survivor, you know what I mean, at the heart, and I really love it. It's just, I think that when you were saying that, what got me was that I'm just disappointed with the people who have already left. I did not want to see Soda leave. I did not want to see, I already forgot his name, the guy who...
Tevin?
Yeah, Tevin. I did not want to see that. I did not want to see Tiffany. I just feel like there are some people that are there right now that really don't have the best personality, and I would rather have the other people there. But I think that maybe I have more of a bias kind of there, because a lot of people that I don't want to... A lot of people I didn't want to see leave already had to get taken out. So, what the hell, But the format, it's all good. But the format and everything, like, there are a lot of things on here that I am enjoying. But yeah, it's just not my favorite. You know what I mean? But I still like it.
Yeah, I get that. I 100% agree with what you're saying. I think for whatever reason, the fact that I love a majority of the cast, I think that's kind of what's saving me from where you are. Because even though I loved Soda, I loved Tevin, Hunter, Tiffany, but I'm still rooting for Maria and Charlie and Kinsey and even Ben, but Venus. But yeah, so I guess that's our check-in for Survivor 46, getting our little the temperature on the season so far. One last Survivor question, now that I think about it. How do you, at this point, you have your one last horse in the race for our draft. How do you feel about her? You didn't talk about her.
I know. I am so happy that Venus was not on the radar.
A lot of people are really high on her now.
Yeah, she very well could have been. You know what I mean? She easily could have made an argument about something, and everybody could have been like, you know what? Let's get her the fuck out of here. I really do love Venus because she's one of my picks. So like at heart, I'm like, okay, I want her to still win this thing. I really do want her to win this thing. And even though she could be, a little, I don't want to. She could be a little bitchy. But that's the thing. I was gonna say snobby, but it's like no. I feel like she would respect being called bitchy more, but because she at least owns it, I guess.
Yeah, she does.
And it's like it's nice to see that there's like another kind of person out there who has that kind of like way about them, but they're still making it and still progressing pretty far on into the season itself. So I still feel like there's a lot to respect about her. As long as she just feels heard, I think that she'd be fine. Just like I was saying, whenever she was kind of just there sitting with them when they were talking, and she was just there with them, that's all she really wants, if you think about it, is just to feel included.
That was a very sweet scene.
Yeah.
Well, having said that, why don't we say good night and sleep tight.
Yes. Buenas noches y... I don't know. It's our